This video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. This is my 1976 FJ40 Land Cruiser, and I love it. It's got everything. I mean, not everything. It doesn't have a radio, or air conditioning, or power steering, or power windows, or power locks. Actually, it doesn't have power anything. But it also doesn't have cup holders. In fact, it doesn't have a console of any kind. There's just a big hole right here with a bunch of weird shaped stuff at the bottom of it, but I think we can make something that goes right here that's useful and has cup holders. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to do this. I've seen people on YouTube build entire consoles out of cardboard and then kind of deconstruct it to make a pattern that you can make out of wood or aluminum or whatever. That's actually a really fantastic way to do it that I'll probably kind of adapt for this. But it's also an opportunity for me to try something that I've never tried before, and that's 3D scanning. And 3D scanning with something like this isn't about being able to reproduce a part that's on an existing car. It's about being able to define a space that's kind of hard to define. I'm not exactly sure how I would measure all the stuff that's in that area. And so scanning at least will get us a bunch of points that we can reference for distances and heights and slopes and stuff like that. All right, so let's talk about my experience with 3D scanning. I basically don't have any experience with 3D scanning. The only thing I've ever tried to do is with a piece of software on my phone, and it just didn't really work. I mean, it kind of worked, but not in a way that was usable for me personally. So I kind of just gave up on it, honestly. I never really looked into it a whole lot more after that until RevoPoint reached out and wanted to send me one of their scanners. Full disclosure, they did send me this for free. They're not paying me. They didn't ask me to say anything. They just wanted me to try it out in a video. And since I don't really do reviews of things, I'm just gonna use it and see if it works. Basically, I want to scan the area in between these two seats and see if I can get something useful out of this, and I think I probably can, because this is pretty awesome. This is the Miraco 3D scanner by RevoPoint, and it's a self-contained unit. You don't have to use a computer with it, although you can plug it in and move files and stuff, but it's got everything it needs on it to be able to 3D scan an area in color or in black and white. If you have a lot of experience with these things, you could probably make lots of videos with very detailed explanations of how to do everything, but I don't have that yet. So I'm just gonna run you through how it works as best as I know. But there are plenty of tutorials out there if you actually want to see all of the details to get it working in its optimal fashion. It's got a little flip up screen so that you can actually have a better viewing angle depending on what you're scanning, but I'm just gonna leave it down like this for now. There are multiple cameras on it, and this one you can see color, this one you can see kind of exposure, and that is based on how close or how far you are. You've got a little graph here that tells you if you're too close, too far, but then there's also a near and a far mode depending on what you're scanning. If you're doing something small up close, you can use the near. If you want to do the entire front of the vehicle, you can do the far. So even though this isn't something I'm gonna use, I'm gonna just go ahead and show you kind of a test. See if I can get it to scan out here. I'm gonna do a continuous scan, so I'm hitting the button, and now it is trying to continuously take a scan of this front end. And as long as you move slow enough that it has a reference point, it will continue to add on to the existing scan. If you ever need to pause it to get a reset or whatever, you can do that and come back to it and add on to it. Obviously, if I was gonna use this scan, I would wanna scan a lot more information, but just after a few seconds, I've got a point cloud that starts to define what the outside of the vehicle is gonna look like. And if I took my time and was really patient, I could absolutely get a great scan of that entire thing. But that's not what I'm doing with this thing today. Today I need to scan the inside of the car, which is a lot tighter and darker. Scanners actually do pretty well with stuff like this. There's a lot of little fine detail in there. It's light enough, it has different color variation, and so the scanner will probably be able to keep track of this. But this, the big, smooth, shiny black area, that's gonna be a problem. Okay, so briefly, there are different types of 3D scanning. One is called photogrammetry, where the camera actually just takes two-dimensional images of something from different angles and then kind of creates a 3D model from the information in those pictures. Something like this is using infrared light and probably a bunch of other stuff that I don't understand to take three-dimensional pictures around an object and then create a point cloud from those pictures. If you have surfaces that are smooth and shiny and don't have a lot of detail to them, the camera doesn't have a point of reference to know that any two pictures are related to each other in 3D space. There are different things you can add to the object that you're scanning to give the camera points of reference. One of the things that actually comes with the camera are these little reflective stickers. You can put these over the surface and they just create points for that camera, that scanner, to be able to reference. You can also do this with certain types of sprays that add a little bit of texture and sheen to the surface, and even baby powder. There's lots of ways to do it. Since I've got the stickers and the removable, we're gonna try these. Hopefully those points will help the scanner find everything that I need, but then that got me thinking about, what do I actually need? What am I trying to get out of the scan? Because I think you could scan things for two very different reasons. One would be to replicate parts, and then one would be to build something onto a part. For example, if I needed to actually replicate this little window right here, I need to be able to scan it as best as I can, from front, from back, from top to bottom, the hinges, everything about it, because I need to be able to recreate all of the stuff that defines this object. I don't actually care about having a scan of these seats. I just need to know where they are in space. In fact, all I really need to know is where these brackets are, the things that I might mount to, how they relate to the rest of the car. And I'm definitely not gonna get a scan of all that stuff down there or underneath the seats because it's not important. All right, enough talk. Let's get to scanning. So after just a few minutes, I've got pretty much all I need. It's not a complete model for sure, but I've got the rail right there. I've got the mounting points down here on the back that I needed. And so basically, once I've got this model on here, it's got controls on board to do all the stuff you need to do. To turn it into a mesh, you can turn on and off the textures, you can make a color or not. There's all sorts of stuff you can do right here. And then if you upload this to their software, you can actually do even more stuff. You can isolate the points from the point cloud. You can remove unnecessary points. You can smooth out shapes that didn't quite work or didn't quite scan correctly. And then eventually you turn it into a mesh. You can get rid of the texturing on it. You can do all sorts of stuff. And I think the better scan you start with and the more time you spend refining that scan here, you can end up with a really good result. But even with my limited experience scanning, I got exactly what I needed. So now we can export this out and take it into Fusion and then start building something on top of it. I say it all the time, but I say it because it's true. 3D modeling is awesome. You can get in and build an idea and then iterate on that idea and come up with different versions of it and try things out before you ever cut a piece of material or even buy material for that matter. And because I had that 3D scan in Fusion to start with, I was able to come up with a very, very important piece for this entire project. The little curvy metal piece in between the seats turned out to be kind of a linchpin, kind of an important part of how I was designing this entire thing. And with 2 3D prints, I was able to get to a piece that fit around it perfectly. This is gonna act as a stop on the front of my console, and it actually led to me being able to make the console removable. I could just show you the model, but it's not really complete. It's more of a proof of concept. So instead, we're just gonna sketch it out here and talk about the idea. The idea is that I wanna have a console that can act kind of like a cooler. You can fill it up with ice and drinks. And then when you get wherever you're going, you can unlatch it and take it out with you. I'm gonna have a console that's like this, with a couple of cup holders in the front, and then I've got to attach it to that curvy bar and to the area back by the back seats. Now that 3D printed piece that I came up with is actually gonna be the latch that wraps it around that curvy bar. Then on the back end, we can just put a little latch to lock it in place. So the whole thing is captured when the vehicle is moving, and when you wanna take it out, you do a single latch, you pick it up, and you take it with you. I went to the store the other day and I was looking for materials that would be waterproof. And I came across this, PVC sheets. This is a 1/4 inch thick, comes in a panel for about like 20 bucks, I think. This is gonna be more than enough material to make this entire thing, and you can make it waterproof. Now eventually all this stuff's gonna get painted, so it doesn't matter that I'm gonna use this purple primer to get the PVC ready to glue together. For the glue, we're just using regular PVC cement. This is the same stuff that you would use if you were doing plumbing. In this case, it should lock all this stuff together. It might seal it, but we'll probably have to come back and caulk all the seams to make it waterproof. This video is sponsored by SimpliSafe, which is awesome because I've been using SimpliSafe for like 8 or 9 years. We had it in our last house, we have it in this house. It's a fantastic way to secure and protect the things and the people that you care about. One of the things I love most about SimpliSafe is that you actually go and build the system that you need for your home on the website, and then it shows up in a box. And it's all stuff that you can set up on your own in about an hour. Plus, you can get 24/7 monitoring for about $1 a day, which is fantastic. But in addition to the 24/7 monitoring, they've got something called LiveGuard protection. Now, if you have one of their smart indoor cameras, and God forbid you get broken into, They actually get a signal in about 5 seconds and can see inside your house to see the intruder and talk to the intruder through your camera while they're calling 911 for you. That's pretty fantastic. Plus, they get to give very specific information to 911 if that were to happen. But outside of that, SimpliSafe's a great way to just keep an eye on things and protect against flood or fire, any of the other stuff that could possibly go wrong inside your house. And that's possible because they've got smoke detectors and motion sensors, indoor, outdoor cameras, camera doorbells. They've got all the stuff that you need for all the different parts of your house. And a personal note on the indoor cameras, a lot of people are worried about privacy when you have cameras on the inside of your house. I'm one of those people. But one of the things that I really like about SimpliSafe's indoor cameras is that they have a physical shutter that covers the camera lens when they're not in use. The bottom line is, SimpliSafe is awesome. It's a great way to feel more secure, to protect yourself and your stuff and your family and your home. Be sure to go check them out, and we've got a discount for you. If you go to simplisafe.com/ILTMS, customize your system, and then you're gonna get 20% off the entire system when you sign up for a Fast Protect monitoring plan. Plus you get a free month. It's good stuff. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. A big thanks to SimpliSafe for sponsoring the video. Like I mentioned before, we're probably gonna need caulk in all these seams, both to reinforce it for strength, but also to seal it. Normally this cement would work perfectly for sealing up the pipes for plumbing. But in this case, we've got this little bit of a texture on one surface, which I think is gonna create a bunch of little holes, which would allow water to come out. As I was thinking about reinforcing that stuff, I realized that I had this. This is a piece of shoe molding that's actually made out of some sort of a plastic. It's not PVC, but the outside of it sure feels like it, so I decided to do a test. It turns out that the PVC cement works great on that trim, and so I made a little test piece of a joint, and it is way stronger than just these two pieces at a 90-degree angle. So I can cut some more of that trim and put it on the inside of that box just to strengthen up the corners. I definitely should have worn gloves, I just got ahead of myself, but check it out. I got a waterproof box. It's really simple to put together, very inexpensive material, and it's super lightweight. Now that I've got this thing, I can probably explain a little bit more clearly what I'm planning to do with it. This front section is for cup holders. I have to 3D model and drop in a piece right here that can hold a couple of small cups. Then this big section is the actual console. It'll have a sliding top that will slide backwards. And on the inside, you can either fill it up with ice and put drinks in it, or just put normal console stuff, fill it up with loose change and pencils, I guess. But the more interesting thing to me is actually how it's gonna attach to the vehicle. That curved piece of metal is gonna fit in this slot right here, and this piece is gonna be attached right there. So you're gonna slide this in from the back, it's gonna lock over that little piece of metal, and then on the back end, we'll have a block that we can lock it into as well. So while I'm printing this piece, I can go back to Fusion and model up a drink holder. While I was waiting on the 3D prints, I added some caulk to the inside of all these seams, but now I have to let that dry before I can actually test it out. Luckily, the prints are done. I've got a couple of prints to try out here, and I think they're gonna be fine, but we're gonna test them. This one goes around that metal bar to actually lock the thing in place, and the other one is the cup holder. So this piece is gonna end up going right there, and I'm gonna test it out by just putting in a couple of screws from the top, so I can go set it in place, make sure it locks on the bar correctly, and then I'll come back and reinforce it with some 5-minute epoxy. And I've got to do that before I can put on the cup holder. This is kind of a fast, low quality test print, but it does fit perfectly. So it'll get glued here once I do the final print. And obviously you can design these to make whatever size you want. Personally, I like small bottles like this and coffee cups like this, little water bottles. And so I designed it so I could fit 2 in here because there's not a whole lot of room. But, you know, if you've got a giant Stanley or something, you can just change it in Fusion. That actually worked perfectly, which is really cool. So I'll put some epoxy on here to glue these together. I'll also print this at a little bit higher quality and then glue it on here. But we're gonna move on to the top. My plan for the top is this. I cut a piece that fits right here. I'm gonna put some tracks on it so it will slide back because I've got plenty of room behind the seats. Otherwise, you could add some hinges to have it flip different directions, but in my case, I think sliding is gonna be best. Plus, I can make it slide really easy using aluminum angle. And this stuff is great because you can cut it with woodworking tools, you can glue it to things, screw it to things, and it creates kind of a tough edge around here on the top in case something bangs into this. Now the front one and the two sides are actually gonna be glued onto the box, so they're gonna stay in place and act as a track. The one in the back is gonna be attached to the top and it's gonna slide with it. But I can't glue any of them on until I get this thing painted. The top is almost done. I have one more thing to put on, and that is a little handle that I modeled and 3D printed. And I made this handle to fit this screw. And I chose this screw because I had it, no particular reason. But I picked this screw and measured it, and then I modeled up this to fit. That bolt is just long enough that when I put a nut on it, on the inside of the console, it'll actually act as a stop. And so the top panel will be captured. It won't be able to slide all the way out unless you unscrew it. I know I've said it a bunch of times, but being able to take measurements of anything in the real world and then create a 3D model to work with it in your projects is awesome, and I want everybody to be able to do it. That's why I made an online course called Fusion for Makers, and we start you at the very beginning. You don't have to know anything, and we teach you how to do this and a lot more. We even show you how to get the free personal license for Fusion, not a trial, like a legit personal license for you to use. For free. Speaking of free, you can actually go watch the first few videos of the course for free to see if it's something that you might be interested in. Hit the link down in the description, go over and check it out, and if you're into it, then there's also gonna be a discount code down there that you can use to get the course even cheaper. I hope to see you over there. All right, let's get back to this thing and finish it up. That totally works, but I am taking it back off because I've still got a couple of things I want to do, and it'll be easier without the top in place. Okay, so the other thing that I have to deal with is actually right here. I've actually just got a block of 2x4 right here to match the same height as the front. So when I take this thing out and set it on a picnic table, it's level. But in the truck, there's another area underneath this that I need to fill and make it so this can lock in place. This is by far the least figured out part of this project, so I don't even know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Here's the idea. I've got a thin piece of steel, and I'm gonna cut this out to act as like a mounting bracket. There's gonna be two little slots that will go under existing bolts to kind of lock it down to the vehicle. Then a piece of wood will be screwed onto that steel from underneath. This will be where the console rests, and the latching will happen on this face. Let's give it a shot. That kind of latch is awesome, and that means this thing is done, except for testing water tightness, but you know, not really worried about messing up the carpet, so we'll just test it in place. Then we get this thing painted, and then we can put it in the cruiser. Now obviously this thing doesn't have any insulation, so it's more of a bucket than a cooler, but the ice is still frozen, so it's kind of working. The important thing here is that I have this in the vehicle, and I now have cup holders, which I'm pretty excited about. If this gave you some ideas for something you can make in your vehicle or just somewhere else, let me know down in the comments because I would love to hear it. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Now it's time for bloopers. That's not what the Morocco is doing. Morocco? That's not what this scanner is doing. Before you ever cut a piece of material, before you ever, and then when you, wow. And they came across these PV sheets. That's what they should call them. All right,